A study on occupational safety and health will explain in detail to provide the preliminary risk assessment report before the construction starts. In this project, our construction company being awarded a new proposed development of 50 units of two-story building room in the UTHM. So we are requested by the client to provide the preliminary risk assessment report and the further recommendation to ensure the safety and health of workers and to prevent the further accident. So the objective of this report is to identify the hazard and risks in roof work, to evaluate the risk analysis and risk control in construction, and to evaluate the safety health and safety hazard in roof work. For the flow chart, this activity starts with the conducting risk assessment, next conducting quality control of the roof work, and last but not least, performing roof work with right procedure.
Assalamualaikum Inhan. My name is NURSHUHADA BINTI BAHRI. I will explain about the methodology. For methodology, we will conducting risk assessment that's called as HIRAH, HI for hazard identification, RA for risk analysis, and RC for risk control. There are 5 steps in risk assessment, which is first is identify hazard, second is consider who could be harmed and how could it be, evaluate the risk and take action, record significant findings and implement, and review assessment and update where necessary. Hazard identification. Hazard can be potential causing harm to people. For example, hazard from moving machine, radiation, hazardous substances. For decreasing hazard, there is suggestion for risk management, which are first is prepare inventory for all sources of hazard. Second is identify hazard for each inventory, and third is review and update the inventory regular. For risk analysis, for this project, we are using semi-quantitative assessment as risk analysis to measure the risk. This assessment is using scoring scheme, which is likelihood and severity. For likelihood, it's rating from 0 until 5, which is 0 almost impossible to 5 almost certain. And while for severity, also rate from 0 until 5, which is 0 for no harm, and 5 is for catastrophic. And lastly, for the risk control, there are three types of risk control. First is observing actual practice, then watching and talking to employee for asking safety of work, whether the work condition is safe or not to be continued. And lastly is taking measure of precaution of the hazard. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Azim. Today I will explain about risk assessment hierarchy table for the roof work. For the work activity, I'm refer from the Good Practice Guideline 2017, and for the risk analysis, we analyze by the logic. So let's go for the work activity number 1, installing roof material that contain harmful chemical. The hazard was hazardous chemical substance. For the risk is 12 medium. What we are recommended for the control measure is elimination, change the chemical material with the eco-friendly. Engineering control, we design the material use, amenities control, provide safety work procedure and medical surveillance program. And personal protective equipment is use a full set of PPE. Second, air conditioner installer. Hazard is lifting and carrying heavy material. Risk is 12 medium. Control measure is engine control, vacuum lifting device or duct lift, and administrative control, safe work site layout. Thirdly, work activity is set up scaffolding to provide safe access to the roof. Hazard is improper tanning, overloading. Risk is 6, medium. Control measure, substitution. Change the rusty scaffolding with the new one. Engineering control, scaffold must be regularly inspected. Emergency control, follow the proper safety protocol and observing manufacturer and instruction. And work activity number 4, cover roof with a layer of roofing, felt or asphalt strip before installing tile, slag, or composition material. Hazard, stability on the roof. Risk is 16, height. And for the control measure, substitution, install the guardrail. Engine control, deploy safety supervisor to monitor the work progress, especially the risky work. Emergency control, provide information and training to the employee. Personal protective equipment, attach the anchor. Number 5, roofing work. Hazard is exposed to the step on fragile roof. Risk is 25, height. For the control measure, engineering control, to install the horizontal lifeline. Second, to install the crawler. And for the administrative control, to train worker for the working at the height, to provide supervision. Number 3, to conduct the toolbox. And lastly, personal protective equipment, to wearing safety helmet and safety shirt. So actually, on the work activity, we have list 14 work activity on the report as stated in the report. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Safety hazard. Okay, for the discussion for safety hazard, is the most crucial safety hazard is exposed to step on fragile roof. Okay, the potential for the workers to fall from the roof, which is a height. This can lead to a fatal incident on the site. There is also no existing control for this hazard. The risk hazard for this the risk analysis for this hazard represent likelihood 5 and severity 5, which is it give a total risk 25. It means height from the risk metric table. Okay, there is a few control measure, which is engineering control, administrative control, and personal protective equipment. Okay, for engineering control, the control measure are by installing the horizontal lifeline or by installing the crawler board or access plan to the roof. And administrative control, a supervision will be provided by the supervisor on duty for the site construction. And the last one for PPE, it is mandatory for the workers should wear safety helmets, safety boot, safety vest, and working gloves.
Now for most critical hazard, based on hierarchy table that we proposed before, the most critical hazard is installing roof material that contain harmful chemical. For example, roof material that contains harmful chemicals such as roof tar. So this is the picture of a roof tar. The causes of this using roof tar is first is affecting lungs. Next is can cause cancer, and the last one is can cause asthma. Next is proposed control measures. In this discussion, we propose control measures based on the hierarchy of control, where from most effective to less effective, as in the figure shown. First is elimination, where material with high chemical risk is eliminate and replaced with eco-friendly material. Second is engineering control, where redesign of material use need to be conducted by designer. And third is administrative control, where employers need to provide safety work procedure and medical surveillance program. And finally, the least effective is personal protective equipment. It is mandatory for workers. It is mandatory for workers to use PPE to reduce the possible inhalation towards the chemical substance. And use of air purifying respirators is very important. Picture is shown below. This is to avoid any direct inhalation to the harmful chemical. That's all from me. Thank you.